Wow. I'm waiting for somebody to come on in. Let me see if I have good Wi-Fi. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm back. I'm all ready for the house of the Lord tonight, but I am going to use my time wisely. All right. We want to thank God for you. I want to take the time to speak about, I want to take the opportunity right this moment to speak about how useless some of these elected prime ministers has been. I want to speak how useless they have been. Get out of my thing. Yeah, so I want to speak about how useless some of these Caribbean leaders have been. Now we are seeing the US they're taking control over, the US is literally taking control over their space. But many of these Caribbean leaders have no high value. What they do, they allow the Caribbean to become hoes and prostitutes. So the people, after these leaders become prostitutes, then the whole nation becomes prostitute. You don't really have leaders that understand development of people, developing not only the country, but have some sort of way of developing the people. When you look at China, and I was watching something with China, how China, from an early age, how the Chinese literally developed the people. That is the reason why China is the way it is. China is, I mean, you have a lot of people in China that I mean, they know how to do stuff, because from an early age, those Chinese knows how to be chef. They know how to make plates. They know how to do all of those things. So if you are going to have governmental leaders that are only there to develop the country by buildings and not learning to develop your own people, it's obvious you're going to have problems. I remember the last time I was in St. Lucia, and while I was there, I knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong with the country. Because you are seeing, you look on top of the hills in Rodney Bay, and you are seeing these humongous houses. This is what they call success. They call this type of thing success. Oh, the country is succeeding and the people are succeeding because they have a house on top of a hill. And as I walk around and I look at the posture of the people, I realized that the people were suffering. So we have these governmental leaders that are looking for prosperity in other way, but not looking to not looking to allow the people to be prosperous. How do your people become prosperous? They become prosperous by you as a leader teaching your people how to do industry. So you look at the different things that is in the island, like making breadfruit, using what you have, breadfruit, banana flour, sweet potato flour, doing all of these type of things and allowing the people to be industrious people. Now, those type of governmental leaders, if you are not trying to develop your people and you're only trying to develop yourself, you then after time will have a poor nation. You have an extreme poor nation because you are not trying to develop your people. So St. Lucians, Dominicans, and all of these other people can't see anywhere else to go because they are teachers, lawyers, policemen. There is not enough. They are looking at the country and realize there is not enough in there. I cannot strive in here. I cannot work in here. What gives you the mindset? They tell you there is not much things in the country. So they go to the United States, they go to Europe, they go to all of those things because we do not have leaders with great minds. We do not have leaders in the Caribbean with great minds. Leaders that will push the people to do well. We have leaders that are only helping themselves. They are helping themselves. They are helping when they get in power. They tell you there is not much things in the country. So they go to the United States, they go to Europe, they go to all of those things. So we have leaders that only help themselves. They send, when they get in power, they send their children. When they get in power, they send their children to Switzerland and they take the biggest salary. And as they take the biggest salary, they are not looking to develop their people. They are only developing the country by building buildings, and that's it. But if you will learn how to develop your own people, then a lot of things will change. A lot of things will change. So that's the problem we have in the Caribbean. That's the type of problem we have in the Caribbean. Leaders that are only trying to develop their own self and their children. So if we have such leaders, it's obvious after time the country remain extremely poor. 99% of policemen, they are not being paid well. So if they are not being paid well, then you end up having a police that will sell drugs, that will take bribes, because they are not being treated right. So they end up taking bribes. So if we are looking for leaders in the Caribbean, first of all, we have to look for leaders that fear God. Leaders, first of all, before everything else comes, leaders that fear the Almighty God. And I don't think we have much of these leaders that fear God. So after a time, St. Lucia, Dominica, and many of these countries look like they are doing very well. But then afterwards, there is a great collapse. these nations are soon going to collapse. They're soon going to collapse because they never, ever, ever try to develop the minds of their own people. So we literally have a lot of ignorant leaders that do not develop the minds of the people. They don't care. They don't really care about their own people. When they get in power, it's all about me, my dog, my cat, and I. So they look like they are good leaders, but yet they are not. What I saw in my visions concerning St. Lucia is going to be so terrible. What I saw concerning St. Lucia, Barbados, and some of the Caribbean islands is going to be so terrible. Because there isn't anything that these prime ministers have put in place to help their own nation. They have not put anything in place to help their own nation. And we need prime ministers that will not only try to help themselves, but to help the people. Help the people, educate the people. And that doesn't mean that only university and, academics. There are people that are born gifted. There are people that are born gifted. Have schools to develop people's gifts. Have industrial schools to show people how to develop their gift. Then you will have more people in the country that will employ other people. There's a lot we can learn. When I look at Barbados, I look at these people waste a lot of money. If the people of Barbados say one building is bad, they go and build a whole lot of buildings. And when the people come out of the building, they don't fix those buildings and rent it for people for shops and get money coming back into the government. But you walk around Barbados and you just see buildings that could have been refurnished and used, buildings that can be refurnished, used, and allow the same citizens to pay and do business. Then those buildings, after a time, they become empty, and then Paros goes in it, and it burn up, which the government would have more money coming in. When I see some of these stupid people, I say, Jesus help me. Jesus help me. So many governmental buildings in Barbados, and the buildings are just shut down there. They are so selfish and so self-centered. They refuse to give a Barbadian that building. Encourage them to take that building and make something out of it. You pay the state or the government money, where that money goes back into the government. But those buildings just stands there and nothing comes out of it. So you have a pattern that goes on in the Caribbean where these people even the government has a mentality of poverty. A mentality of poverty. And before you vote for a government, you have to study the government. What is it are you going to do to uplift the people in the land? All right, so we need to go back to the drawing board, asking God for help, asking God for knowledge, asking God to help us. We need to go back to the drawing board because all the Caribbean islands are like that. All right? So this is what I want to say. I'm all ready to go. I don't know. But these people say they are university graduates. They are doctors. They are lawyers. These people, and then they are all of that. They are economists. And you still have people that needs your help. I don't know. If they had to let me run this place, I would run it, and they will want to know what's going on. All of the crime they have in Barbados, let me tell you what's the crime, is because they say they have a scholar as a prime minister. If the prime minister in Barbados only know that you can open marijuana shops, she can open a shop, she can open nothing else, but she opened healing marijuana. That says a lot. So very soon we're going to have lots of booths, marijuana booths in Barbados. Healing marijuana. I thought Jesus is the one that heals. I know. But all these people say they got it going on. And I have to say that these are people that don't care about their own people. These are people that do not care about their own people. She could not open no other center in Barbados but a center for marijuana. Bajans, wake up. Very soon, every one of our little children in this country gonna be stiff. Mwah, mwah, you're gonna be there. They're gonna be smoking their joints. And they want to smoke the marijuana, and they're gonna start to say they have epilepsy. They have all kind of things. All you need is one Holy Ghost fire. All right? There's a lot of things that we need to ask God to help us. Because the Lord and people you'll put in power, a lot of those people that you'll put in power, they themselves need help also. I don't understand. And I don't understand why Bajans did not protest and say we don't want them marijuana shops. She's a maniac. Whee! She's a maniac. Ah, Jesus, help me. When I look around, I go laugh at them people. They don't want Jesus. They don't want my bro Jesus. They want marijuana shops. I gotta go. God bless y'all. God bless you. They don't want no Jesus. They want marijuana shops. She's a maniac. And the people are so blind. Let me take off my glasses. Let me see my eyes. I said they're blind. I said the people blind. The people...
Your checking account available balance is $12,617,290.56.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that God help us. You can't see that thing is a person that is a maniac. We need better. We need people that care about people. People that care not only about your family, care about people, put things in place for the nation. Now, the last thing I want to say is that why do you think we have so much problem with drugs and young men killing people here? There's going to be a problem because they can't find nothing else to do. They're robbing people because they ain't got nothing put in place for them. And instead of you putting things in place, maybe that's in some of the Caribbean islands, putting things in place, you put in marijuana shops. What do you think gonna happen when you put them shops? Huh? What do you think is gonna happen? I don't know. We need to cry out to God. I know. There comes a time when you have to realize reality. When reality step in, our reality is stepping in. You can see that sign very wrong about here. Something is so wrong about here. And listen, I watched this thing in Barbados. They just build buildings. Come out of one building. That is the government that does that. They come out of one building. And instead of giving a Barbadian certain parts and building, they will let those buildings go to ruin and not give a Barbadian and rent it out. Do housing areas with them. People still looking for houses. Do something. They are so smart. They bring in Chinese to do this. When you can trade the same Barbadian people to do that. If you can bring people from China to build houses in Barbados when there is so much cap.
Your checking account available balance is $12,600,000.
I'm on a... Yeah, can you come tomorrow? Can you come tomorrow? Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So, if you can bring in people from China, you equip your people about here. You want to tell me that people in China got more skills than Barbadian? So, I don't know if you get... Now, listen to what they do. They brought in people from China to build houses in Barbados. And China is so smart. China is so smart. China bring in people in jail. People that was in jail to build houses in Barbados, and then they go back to China. And listen to what you do. You are not equipping your jail people here. You lock them up and let other men bull them. Let other men have sex with them in the prison. When you will not you know, I can't even get the words out of my mouth. When you can help rehabilitation, where you can help those people that have done crimes. You can help those people that have done crimes. Have people to help them mentally and to do the same work. But you are doing that. But you bring criminals from China to build houses when you have your own criminals lock up 24 hours a day. That makes sense to you? Does that make sense to you? 5 minutes from where I live here, I saw some Chinese building. So I asked who these people are. They told me them is prisoners from China. But you got, so I'm asking Mia Motley, what's the sense of bringing common criminals from China to build houses, but you have your criminals in jail? Huh? I could not believe that all these people that were building the houses 5 minutes away from me, 5 minutes away from me, come from jail in China. But you ain't helping your own black people that did something wrong here. So the Chinese is so smart. The Chinese don't want them to stay in there helping the same criminals to come from a plane to come here to work when you have your criminals locked up. You have your criminals up there and you let other men go through their backside when you can't help them and open. Now, you got some policemen about here. You got some policemen about here when they should be doing work. They just sit in the police station. Some of these policemen should be out there guarding those criminals up there. Now, you have young men that have committed crime. Why do they commit crime? They commit crime because of the environment that they are in, their home environment. You will help them. You let them rotten in jail. You let them rotten in jail. They come out when they're 65. They come out but China knows different. China knows different. China allow all their criminals to go and build prefab houses. When you got your criminals up there, and listen to what y'all do. Maybe somebody do something. All have, and some of y'all politicians, y'all are the worst criminals because some of y'all need to be in jail. Some of y'all need to be in jail. But you allow them to go up there and you don't give them a chance. Huh? When I walk out there, I ask the people, who are these Chinese? They tell me that the Chinese tell them that they are criminals. The Chinese work in and they say that they are prisoners that leaves the prison from China and go and build prefab houses all over the Caribbean. But in St. Vincent, they got the criminals locked up. St. Lucia, they got the criminals locked up. But China's criminals learn how to build prefab houses in jail. But you ain't got nothing for them, for those criminals to do. You ain't got nothing for them to do than to bull each other in jail. You don't think that they need a second chance? You don't think they need a second chance? You see, when I start to speak, you're like a like me. You don't think that they need a second chance. So the Chinese government can give the criminal a second chance to travel the Caribbean to do prefab house for you. But you can't give your criminals a chance. Are gone. Listen, I want you to start to look at what's going on in the Caribbean. And I want you to vote out your government. They got black. Listen, I know that we come from the black race. But all them people got black mind. Their mind black as ever. You got black mind. Because China don't see their criminals like you see your criminals. Bye-bye.